Welcome to the podcast. I'm your co-host Sirik, and I'm always joined by my co-host Ron.
What's going on?
You know what we do? We talk about the National Football League on a weekly basis, including the playoffs. Ron, this is episode 141, week 15. How are you feeling overall about the NFL? I know AFC is different from the NFC, but how are you feeling about your team? What's going on?
Yeah, man, I feel like it's been an exciting year. I think this year we'll probably have playoffs without Burrow, without potentially Lamar, without potentially Mahomes. So a lot, some new teams in there. I think I'm kind of excited to see, what the playoffs will look like. So, I think it's been a pretty decent season.
Yeah, you're right. We're probably not gonna have Burrows or Mahomes.
Yeah.
But out of all these other teams, other than Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, do you trust Drake May? Do you trust Herbert, who I think like 1-4 in the playoffs?
I wouldn't use the word trust, but what I would say I'm scared of, like every single one of those quarterbacks you mentioned, I know they're capable of just like going off one game. And that's all it takes when you get to the playoffs, right? It just takes one good game. And any of those quarterbacks you mentioned could have, I wouldn't call it a breakout game, but just a really good performance. I've seen Bo Nix throw for 3-4 touchdowns. We've seen that, right? We've seen Stroud do that, maybe not necessarily in the playoffs and stuff, but those guys are capable of doing it. So, I think when you get to the playoffs, it's, when you got some, maybe some guys that don't have a lot of playoff experience necessarily, but guys that you've seen have been capable of scoring when they need to. I think it makes you a little bit more nervous for your teams when you go against those teams.
Yeah, I think if I was, and we don't know what the playoff seeding is, if I was to rank them, I would go Josh Allen, Drake May, Justin Herbert, Stroud, Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence. I know, I just feel like Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence not to have a complete game. There may be like a great quarter, maybe a great half. Just can't complete game. But yeah. They both have.
Yeah.
Houston defense is good, and Denver. We'll see. So what's on the show today? We're gonna have news. We're gonna have the previous view, and then we're gonna have a power ranking. Then we'll finish game predictions. Ron, Phillip Rivers to the Colts. What's your thought? He's 44 years old.
Forget the age, just coming off the couch, hasn't played in how long? Like 3-4 years, something like that.
I saw something that he's like coaching his son's high school, running the same plays as
yeah, he's a grandfather at this stage.
9 kids.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess, and that's the route that they're taking. I would think that there would be some other names out there that they can go to, but because we're way past the trade deadline at this point, teams don't have a lot of options. If you don't have a guy on your team, you have to wait and hope that some player gets cut from somewhere, so you can pick them up, and that's not apparently going to happen, right? It possibly could have happened with Flacco in Cincinnati, but Cincinnati at this point has nothing to play for, so why put Burrow out there? Will we see Burrow the rest of the season? I don't know. Maybe Flacco's playing for them for the rest of the season. Who knows? So, unless the team's willing to give up or just let go of a quarterback, you're really out there looking at like practice squad players. And, for them, I guess they felt like Rivers was the best answer.
I really thought that they were going to get Flacco. Bengals didn't want to. Okay. I'm just thinking like we both have family. How would you explain to your wife
3 years later?
3 years later, hey honey, guess what? I'm gonna play football. You mean like flag football? No, like real football. Oh, you mean you're gonna coach the kids? No. I'm actually gonna play professional football for what? 4 games?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that Herbert playing with Cass or Rodgers playing with Cass, this is like the most improbable thing I could.
Yeah, it's just sad. And we talked, I know we've talked about beginning of the season about quarterback depth and how important it is, especially as the season gets longer and longer and they keep moving, to 17 to 18 games. At some point, we'll probably be at 20 games. You have to have multiple quarterbacks that you can trust on the team. And if you look at the Colts, right? Obviously, they had a good year with what's his name, Daniel Jones, right? But the rookie they had drafted a couple years ago, that guy
Richardson,
his latest injury, it was in warmups with the exercise band, hitting him in the eye or some crap like that. That has been a complete disaster. And I don't know who else they have like besides those two. So, they were thin, right? Because Richardson didn't turn out to be what they expected. So, that's what happens because guys are gonna get hurt, and you have to have the players behind them that you trust, or especially if you think you got a good team that can make it to the playoffs, and have the potential to make a playoff push or a playoff run. You got to have a backup quarterback and go in there and win a game or two. You just have to. So that's kind of where they're at right now. Desperate times.
Yeah, I mean, once you give up all those draft picks, thinking Jones is going to be there and then he's not, you just got to do what you got to do. I mean, I'm not trying to say that you can't blame the owner for not trying, but 24 years old.
And you think about teams too that are out of it, right? That have multiple quarterbacks. You mentioned like Cincinnati. They're not mathematically out of it, but they're basically out of it. But I can see them wanting to protect Burrow and just playing Flacco. But look at the Giants. Wilson didn't even, I don't think he even started or played last game. I don't think he was active for the last game. So, and then they had Jameis as the backup. So they had some guys that I'm sure the Colts would have loved, but they're just sitting on a team that is going nowhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, very sad. The other set of news, Quentin Jammer came out and said he played drunk. I mean, I know football players play under the influence of time, cannabis, whatever the case may be. But he played drunk, and I guess what I'm seeing now is all the Charger fans putting up clips. Remember this one time where you messed up? Were you drunk then? Like, why make this admission now? Why, after the fact, come on, yeah, I played.
I have no idea.
I mean, is he going through some kind of program that he has to?
Yeah.
I mean, this is insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I guess he wants to use himself as sort of like a warning to other athletes to take care of their mental health and make sure they're getting the help that they need and all that other stuff. But it's just I don't know if that was the right way to necessarily do it. But he's not the only one that's played under the influence, right? Even Lawrence Taylor, I think back in the days, had admitted to playing under the influence. Baseball players have admitted to doing stuff all the time. So
chewing tobacco with that nicotine.
Yeah.
Supposed to make you fast. Whatever the advantage.
Yeah.
I don't think playing drunk gives you.
No, not at all. Not that sport, not at all.
No. Let's look at week 14, Ron, because we didn't do that well. We both didn't even hit double digits.
Yeah.
We normally do. Both got 6 points, which puts you up by 11?
9, I think.
9? Yeah. So 133 to 124. It's 4 games left. This is why when you look at the game prediction, I went many games because it's desperation. I need to make up the. Were there any games that you were like, this team is really good, or man, this.
There were some games that I was a little like disappointed, like Tampa. I knew New Orleans, like they had played pretty well. Shuck was like I said, he doesn't have any weapons, but he's looked the part of a starting quarterback. That they could be dangerous, especially at being a divisional game. But Tampa, with having Bucky back and they needing to win, backs against the walls, if you will. I thought they would go out there and win that game. And now with that loss, they're sitting there still in first place, I believe, right? Or tied with 7-6, tied basically with Carolina. There's a chance. And I don't think they even played Carolina yet. I think they still got 2 games left on the season. They made it difficult on themselves. And it's not a guarantee that they're going to be in the playoffs. So they got a tough road ahead. They needed to win that game. And I hear Mike Evans is back this week for Thursday night game. But yeah, looking back to last week, that was a game I think Tampa needed to have, and they just didn't get it.
I was surprised by 2 games. Minnesota, Washington game.
Shutouts just don't happen anymore.
Yeah, it's so strange. I was like, what am I watching? And then the other game that I was both went with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, your team. So what happened? He just threw caution to the wind and was like, whatever we did, we're doing the opposite.
I have no idea, man. And
or is Baltimore that bad?
I think Baltimore is not that good because Lamar is very, very unhealthy right now. So he's probably about 50% of himself, and he can't run. And that's a huge part of their game is his ability to, play out of the pocket and make some plays with his legs. He did that a couple times, but he wasn't his normal self. And then for the Steelers, they weren't their normal self either. They actually took a lot of deep shots. I think they completed 4 passes over 20 yards when they haven't done that in over a month. They hadn't completed 1 pass. So it was un-Steeler-like football by actually taking some deep shots. But
you see them doing this
no
against Miami,
no, I don't see, just because you do it one time, and we've been, I think fans in the media, the local media have been calling for you to take some deep shots for like 5, 6, 7 weeks now. It doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden going to make that that's going to be your identity. Rodgers has never, the last like 4 or 5 years, that hasn't been his approach. He likes to dink and dunk. So I don't see them committing to that going forward. So, we'll see what happens this week, but I am not predicting that they're going to have a bunch of chunk plays like they did last week.
The other one that I want to talk, Eagles losers 3.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that Monday night game because I was just like, Herbert is winning the cast, they're not gonna win. What do you think is a philosophical? You think it's the offense, or you have 2 great receivers, you have a good running back, great running back. What's going on?
He had a bad game. 4 interceptions or something like that. He just did not play well at all. And I don't know. There's times he looks really good. If he plays within that certain, that role, that scheme, he looks the part. And then there's other times you're like, yeah, this guy is just not seeing the field, or he's just not accurate. So I don't know what to say of that performance, but they ran the ball well. Barkley looked pretty good. I think he had like one really big run finally. Their defense played well. But it was just Hurts and his interceptions, even all the way down to the end of the game. They had a chance to win, and he threw that pick and cost him the game.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. talk about they have a great defense, have a good roster. They're on a losing streak. Crazy. The Dallas is Ron, who is in your power ranking?
Yeah, this is interesting. Top 10, right? This week, I think it's interesting because there's so many teams that have winning records at this point, and they're right in the back half of the top 10. You can make a case for a lot of teams to be included that aren't there. So in my top 10 this week, I still have Seattle as number 1. I have Green Bay. I moved them up to number 2. I had New England there. I know they had a bye, but I moved Green Bay to number 2. The Rams appear to be the real deal. I had them at number 4. I moved them up to number 3, but I've seen on a lot of people rankings, a lot of shows and stuff that they have the Rams as number 1. So I can see that. New England I have at number 4, Denver at number 5, Jacksonville at number 6, Chicago I have at number 7, the Niners at 8, and then the last 2 are new teams. So I got Buffalo at number 9, and I got the Chargers at number 10. So Philly and Indy are the teams that were bumped out of my top 10 this week. I think for Indy, I don't want to say they're cooked, but they're done. I think as far as playoffs and having an opportunity to get in and stay into the playoffs, I think they're cooked. But you got some other teams that it's like I said, it's easy to argue that they belong there, like Houston and even Detroit. At this point, I think you can make the case for them being in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, we know 3 playoff teams are going to come out. So, Jacksonville should win that division. Houston should get, but I basically did not change my top. Seattle number 1, Rams 3. Seattle and the Rams took care of teams. Then I have Bay at number 4. I have Denver at number 5. Jacksonville number 6, San Francisco number 7. They had a bye week. Buffalo. That Buffalo Cincinnati game, it was definitely a lot of points, but there was chances one of them was going to be bad.
Yeah,
because what Josh Allen had like a touchdown. Who's doing it all?
Yeah. Cincinnati should have won the game. Burrow with those 2 interceptions at the end. I mean, Cincinnati was going to win that game until those.
Well, that's what happened this half the season.
Yeah.
And you come back to play against competition.
But I think, and I'll let you finish your top 10.
Well, this was basically I got Buffalo at number 8. Number 9, I got Chicago and LA Chargers.
Yeah, where I was going with Buffalo, I don't trust them. Even though they won the last, 2 or 3 games or so, I don't trust them. 2 games, they've been on a 2-game winning streak. Even with those 2 wins, you're like, probably shouldn't have won those games the way they've played. So, I don't know. I don't know what their schedule looks like the rest of the way here. And they probably will be a lock for the playoffs if they can win like 1 more game or so. But, I just don't see them making a deep run in the playoffs when they get there this year.
I mean, it's fairly easy schedule. And they have the Patriots next, followed by the Browns. Then they got the Eagles and finish.
Yeah.
So let's say they lose against the Patriots. Now they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
What that would mean that they finished the year. Oh, so that's playoff team. But you're right. I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah,
unless these quarterbacks that we talked about in show just
I
collapse.
think, like you said, AFC, the entire AFC, you just don't know what you're going to get when you get into the playoffs. So that's exciting because none of these teams are you necessarily trust. I think you can be scared and have some fear, but I think it's up in the air. Any team that's in the playoffs can make a run and make it to the Super Bowl. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, and that's why, that whole thing like, oh, if the season was end today, which it doesn't, but so far, looked at the playoff seeding right now, number 2 Patriots. No.
Yeah.
That's the last team that we should play.
Right.
We need someone that's anti-offense. No. Anybody buddy. Let's go into the game prediction. And we'll skip the first Thursday game because that's gonna something later, but we'll go into Sunday, December 14th. We got the Cleveland Browns at Chicago Bears. Bears are favored by 7.5. 40.5 is spread. Ron, who'd you?
I'm taking Chicago, but I am a little bit worried because the Browns' offense have actually looked pretty decent. Their defense, we already know, is good. And the Bears, even though they could have won last week, they're just still one of those teams like we were just talking. Do you really trust them at this stage? So I'm picking Chicago to win this one, but the game does make me nervous. And I think we had looked at the weather, right, for this one. Is this the one that's like
it's 20?
Yeah, something crazy like that. So yeah, I want to take Chicago, but I don't have any faith at all in that pick.
I'm going to take Chicago too. And I know what Ben Johnson was trying to do. They got the ball back. They just milked the clock. And it was a bad throw. It was basically a bad throw.
Yeah, the guy was open. The other guy was open, and he just,
underthrew him.
Yeah.
Underthrew him. So at least you know that they can hang with good teams.
Right. Yeah.
But like we mentioned, can you trust Williams?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is going to be the case. But I like Chicago. The next game, Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati Bengals. Ravens, for some reason, are favored by 2.5. 52.5 is going under. Please take Ron.
This one is going to be tough because, like I said, Cincinnati, although not mathematically eliminated, they need like a prayer. And I don't know if it's worth putting Burrow out there, but assuming he does play, I'm taking Cincinnati to win this game.
I'm gonna sag because I have to, but I need desperate, but I'm taking Baltimore here. But there's no way that 52.5 points. I know Bengals defense is bad, and not the Baltimore defense is not great, but Baltimore is not putting up points. There's something wrong with Lamar.
Yeah, he's not
running.
Yeah, and he hasn't if you look at the practice reports, he's not practicing like most weeks, like all week, until that like last Friday. So he's definitely hurt, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think he's playing hurt. Mayfield playing maybe with something bothering. I know he doesn't have enough. But I'm taking Baltimore because if they lose this one, yeah, I know they have one more game with Steelers, right?
Yeah.
Even if they lose this game and win that game, that doesn't.
No.
The next game, Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. Giants are favored at 47.5. Under Ronald.
I don't know why I'm picking Washington, but that's what I wrote down initially. So one thing I should mention, I made my choices this week, and I should start doing this going forward. But before I even put in like the spread or looked at the spread or looked at the over, I just like, okay, what team's going to win? And, I came up with Washington, even though they just got shut out last week. I think Washington is making the right decision. They're sticking with Mariota. He just has looked better, to be honest, than Daniels has when he's played. And I think the Giants are just a hot mess. Dart's probably going to get concussed or something.
Something bad's going to happen.
Something bad's going to happen to him. So give me the Commanders to win that one.
I picked the New York Giants only because when they were playing the Pats that Monday night game, it wasn't like they looked terrible. They just couldn't do anything on third down. Special teams not great. But I feel like at home maybe they can pull this favorite, but 47.5. I took. Next game, Las Vegas Raiders at Philadelphia Eagles. Spread is 12.5, 38.5 over and under, and I think they already mentioned Pickett will play.
Yeah.
So around.
I'm taking Philly here. I think this is their get right game for sure. The Raiders are the worst team in the NFL by a long shot. So
even worse than the Titans?
I think so.
Wow.
The Raiders are. I've seen a few of their games, and this is when like Chip Kelly was calling plays and stuff, but they can't protect anyone at all, and their defense is atrocious. So they need like a whole new roster, top down. So give me Philly to win this one, more than 12.5.
Who's the number one pick right now? Giants?
It is
Las Vegas.
I think it's the Giants right now.
Because Las Vegas, they need a...
Yeah. Jets need a quarterback. Vegas needs a quarterback. Quite a few teams, I think, that will be shopping for a quarterback this year, I would think.
I'm looking at the team. I think the Giants.
No, they just got one.
Hey, good.
Yeah, but coach was fired. They got to find a new coach and all that. That's your first round pick. Number one pick overall. You're not, turning the page on him after one season.
I think the Browns are okay with Sanders.
I don't know what the Browns are doing. I don't think anyone can predict what they're doing. My guess is that they're going to take a quarterback, which will be like their 10th quarterback, in the last how many ever years.
Because they already announced that Watson.
Yeah, he's not going to play this year at all, but he's still under contract. They keep kicking that contract, kicking the can down the road, if you will. So it's not like they can get rid of him next year either. You can't get rid of him at any point.
Collecting a check while he's at home.
Yeah.
Wow. So anyways, give me the Eagles as well. I think this is a bounce back game. Doesn't mean that they're bad.
Yeah.
But they should beat them.
Right.
The next game, New York Jets at Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, it's a 12.5 spread. 41.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your...
Taking Jacksonville again. I don't know he was even playing quarterback for the Jets for this one. So Jacksonville should be like a cakewalk for them.
Last week I picked the Jets. It's gonna be cold and the weather, whatever. And it looked like it didn't really bother Miami. It seemed like.
Yeah.
So give me Jacksonville. I think 4.5. The Arizona Cardinals at the Houston Texans. Spread is 9.5. Texans 42.5 is the points total. Ron,
another team looking for a quarterback is the Cardinals, I believe, with Kyler Murray most likely not playing again for them next season. So give me Houston to win this one. And I think just the way Arizona has looked, Houston should be able to go over that 9.5 point spread as well.
I'm just gonna look at the games. I'm also picking, but I'm just gonna look at the games that Houston has, because I feel like they might have.
Yeah, they are not I mean, they can still get that division.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I don't think they have any tough. So they have the Cardinals left, the Raiders, Chargers, Colts. I mean, they could go 4-0.
Yeah, and here's what the Jags have. So they got the Jets, easy win, but then they got Denver in Denver. They got the Colts with Phillip Rivers in Indy, and then Tennessee.
Tennessee.
You would think, yeah.
The Colts with their grandpa, the quarterback. I don't know. I mean, they have a good roster.
Yeah.
But that's the most important. No. All right. The next game is I have Green Bay Packers at Denver Broncos. This is actually 4:30 game. That's good. Packers favored by 2.5. 43.5 is under. Ron, who?
Yeah, some good 4 o'clock games. A couple good 1 o'clock games too, but this one's going to be really good. I'm taking Denver to win this one. They're at home. Their defense is legit. And yes, Bo Nix has not necessarily played a full game yet. But neither has like Green Bay's offense necessarily. I don't think they've been that great either. They've been up and down as well. And Denver's defense is really good. So give me Denver to win this one. A nail biter.
I think next to the Rams and Seattle, probably the other complete team. Talking about Green Bay. They got Watson back. Looks like running back. I like Green Bay in this game. I think that Micah Parsons, I know he was basically mauled. So are the refs like really, really bad this year?
Yes.
Or is it just me? Because it looked like they could have called the flag every time for Parsons. But yeah, give me Green Bay to win. The next game is Detroit Lions at Los Angeles Rams. Rams are favored by 4.5. 55.5 is under. Ron, what's your prediction?
This is like, I feel like it's a must win for Detroit here, but the Rams are so good and playing so well. I'm taking the Rams to win this one, even though I think Detroit will be a desperate team, and certainly capable of winning. I'm still going to stick with the Rams to win this one.
I thought Jonathan Taylor was going to. Yeah, but I think it should go to Gibbs.
Yeah.
Because that dude does running, does catching, does everything on well. I'm gonna go with Detroit because it's it's a game, I guess. There's no data to back that up, but he must have a chip in his shoulder, right? Like, dude, you guys traded me.
Yeah.
To Detroit. No,
yeah.
From LA all the way to Detroit. Yeah, give me Detroit to win the game. I think Campbell would throw sink. So
here's their remaining schedule. They got the Rams this week, Pittsburgh next week, Minnesota. They should win that, but that's on a Thursday night. So that's on Christmas Day. Then they finish with Chicago. So, I mean, I feel like this is almost a must win for them in order to put themselves in position for the division for sure, to have a chance of winning the division. If they lose this week, I don't know if they can still win the division. Now they're at the 8th seed as well. So, if they don't win a division, they could be on the outside looking in, depending on what happens with the other teams.
Well, the wild card is not going. It's not coming out of the NFC South or the NFC. It's gonna either come from the West or the North, and it's looking more and more like the West have maybe 2 teams that division. I'm still not sure about San Francisco. We'll get to them in a minute, but I don't think you have to win out the division.
Yeah, to guarantee a spot,
to
or
guarantee
you'll
a
be
spot,
hoping for a lot of other things to happen to get that 7th seed.
Yeah, a lot of things. The next game, Carolina Panthers against the New Orleans Saints. Panthers are favored at 2.5. 40.5 is under. Ron, what's your...
Listen, I know Carolina, they have the division right there in front of them. It's up to them to win these games, to clinch. But like I said, New Orleans is playing decent. I really like Chuck. I think the more he plays, the better he's getting. I'm going to do a little mini upset here and take New Orleans to win this one.
Yeah, I went with Carolina because they're coming off a bye week, 2 weeks to prepare for. Again, it all depends. Do they drop the division or do they not? So, and we'll talk about my professional, but I think I picked Carolina. Even though this on the road, but come on, you have to prepare. There should be should be help. The next game, Tennessee Titans at San Francisco 49ers. Another 12.5 for the Niners. 44.5 is under. Run.
Easily taking the Niners here. Like I said, the Titans, they're not a good team either. I don't think Ward is the problem necessarily, but give me San Fran to win this one. I don't know if they'll cover that 12.5, but they'll win easily.
I also got San Francisco for this game, and McCaffrey, I think he's gonna have 1,000 yards rushing. CV.
No, is he? No, I doubt it.
I think he's up there.
I have not really been paying too much attention, to be honest. To San Francisco, they're like a team that's like, oh, they're okay.
They're okay.
Waiting for them to fall off, and they just have not. Right? So
stats.
So he has 849 yards. Is this right? 849 rushing, 806 receiving.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Holy cow.
I don't know why he's not in the offensive player of the season, talk.
What's Jahmyr Gibbs' stats look like? I did not realize he was having that good of a year. Gibbs has 1,000 yards already rushing, but only 474 receiving. Wow.
And I know that they had a very, very the 49ers did, but nobody's talking about this.
Yeah.
He's the MVP of the team. No one's talking about it.
I know. That's crazy.
So yeah, but again, give me San Francisco. Tennessee. The other, Indianapolis Colts at Seattle Seahawks. 13.5. Highest one of the week. No respect for Phillip Rivers. 42.5 is your win under. Ron, who'd you go with?
Yeah, taking Seattle to win this one pretty easily. I can't see the Colts winning in Seattle, even if they would have had Daniel Jones playing. It would have been tough for them to win this game. So give me Seattle to win.
Seattle is a team on a mission. I mean, people were expecting them to be a letdown against Atlanta. They just went out and balled out. I'm just looking at their remaining schedule. Right now, and they have the Colts, Rams, Panthers. 3 games that are going to be real interesting. Because it depends on what the Panthers do. Again, are they on top of the...
Yeah. But they both have identical records at 10-3.
Yeah, that division could produce.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying for teams like Detroit, who's a really good team, they lose this week and fall to 8-6. You might not get that wild card spot. You probably won't.
Seattle, I mean, very quiet. They're doing this like a low key. I don't know what's going on.
They're a good team, man.
They're just a good team. Yeah, 4:30 game. This is Sunday night game. Minnesota Vikings at Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 6.48.5 is Ron, who'd you?
I'm taking Dallas here. The Minnesota win last week was great, but that was against Washington and like a quarterback who should not even have been playing. Dallas should win this one easily. Are they coming off a bye week or they played last? They had a bye, right?
Dallas?
Yeah.
No,
they played.
George Pickens.
That's right. That's right.
Fiasco.
Yeah, so that's right. But give me Dallas to win this one. I think they'll clear that spread too, that 6-point spread.
I like Dallas offense, even though they were down to one. But I love Minnesota's defense. I don't know if JJ can do it 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Minnesota only because if it's George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, I don't know, is he in protocol?
I have no idea.
I have no idea, but yes, that means George Pickens is your go-to receiver.
Yeah. I
don't know how that's gonna turn out because it's not. People were making out to be like he's the villain, but he was the whole team. Some plays it was triple.
Yeah, but there were plays where if the ball's going to him or not, because if it's going the other side, he's like jogging out there, halfway running his route and stuff.
Yeah, but
yeah,
he was a Madonna's anyway.
He did that in Pittsburgh all the time. That's why fans and the media were killing him because it's like, dude, I'm getting paid like a lot of money. Go out there and run your route, even if the ball's not coming to you.
Thing is that I still think that he's going to get a massive punt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So especially from Dallas. Jerry Jones, he's not scared to pull the trigger on questionable players.
He has money, but
right.
You can pay them, but
you have no money for your defense.
Exactly. But we are talking about Jerry. Let's get into our teams, Ron. Buffalo at New England. Buffalo is favored by 1.5. 50.5 is over and under. Ron,
this will be a really, really good game. Like I said at the top of the show, I don't trust Buffalo. I think New England coming off a bye week and having that extra time to prepare, they should be able to win this game. I'm picking them to win 30-27. It wouldn't shock me if they win a little bit more by more than that, though.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think coming off a bye week, everyone is fresh to a certain degree, and I don't trust that Buffalo. I have New England winning 35-1. There's only so much that Josh Allen. The game has to be a close game.
Yeah.
If it's not a close game, Josh Allen can neutralize. But I have New England winning finally, because I'll be honest. I took maybe a week off. Okay. Maybe let me not lose this week. Let me not. But now I'm back. Yeah. I'm back. I saw the landscape. Did not look good. Miami at Pittsburgh by 3 points. 42.5 is spread. Ron, who'd you go with?
I think this will be a great game. I'm a little surprised that Pitt is favored in this game. I thought the rest of the way here, the other teams would be favored, but I think, based on the way the Steelers played last week, that's probably what's going into it. Like I said, I don't trust the offense yet. I don't care what we saw last week. I just don't trust them to take those shots. I'm taking Miami to win this one, 23-20. I think Miami has a really good running game going. They've had that all year. Who is playing just well enough. He's not doing anything crazy or exciting, but I think they are just leaning more on the running game, and the defense is actually playing pretty well. And if you think Minka Fitzpatrick is not going to have it out for the Steelers, the team that traded him, I can see a game where he has like 15 tackles and a couple interceptions and just goes crazy against the Steelers in an effort to try to prove that they were wrong for trading him. So give me the Dolphins to win this one 23-20.
Yeah, Miami to me is the only bad team that has a season went on. Because you can't really say the same about Vader. You can't really say the same kind. Definitely can't say that about the Jets. But Miami's actually like decent.
Yeah.
I just don't know if, cold weather, will the real Tua stand up? Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. But as you mentioned, they do have a good defense. They do have a good, good running chance. Hurt? Not sure, but the other guy's still good. However, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh because they beat Baltimore. Cincinnati lost. I think they can lock up
2 more for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
But one thing you should know, our starting left tackle's on IR. Our backup tackle got hurt. And then that backup had a concussion. It's in concussion protocol right now. So I don't even know. I can't even tell you who's our left tackle going to be. I don't think they can tell you who the left tackle is going to be this week.
Listen, it doesn't matter because as long as you have Rodgers getting rid of the ball under 2 seconds, he does not want to get hit. Yeah. He does not want to get hit.
Well, that's my point. So if you're playing that type of game, that means you're not taking shots down the field.
No, but I think the defense for Pittsburgh is going to be good and not great like we're expecting, but I think they're good. So,
they gave up 200 yards, I think, to the Ravens rushing.
Well, that was a quiet
200 yards.
Quiet.
Yeah, but
yeah. So I got them winning 24-21. It's going to be a close game, but I got them winning. Ron, who is your upset?
Yeah, the Chargers at Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 3.5. 42.5 is the over/under. I'm taking the Chargers to win this one 26-23, and not 100% confident in this one. I think Kansas City will still come out there and play desperate. They're not the same team though. They've struggled all year offensively, and I think Herbert is playing well. He's definitely limited with the cast and stuff, but they got Omari and Hampton back. They have the other running back. Forgot the guy's name. So they got Vidal, 2 good running backs back there. So I think they'll be able to score some points. So I'm taking the Chargers to win 26-23.
This is one of those games that it wasn't trailing. Would it go with the Chargers? But I am. So I'm going to pick KC. Like I said, all those things are.
Yeah.
The defense is not good. The wide receivers is not good. And can't.
Yeah.
But I still have them back. My upset special, the Thursday night game, Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. I have Atlanta winning. Short week. I know that Tampa Bay's gonna. Now Mayfield's hurt. The other McMillan, sorry.
Yeah.
They're getting some players back, but short week. I don't know how much they're gonna contribute. I just don't trust. I think Mayfield has an injury.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's
not letting on.
Mm-hmm. But they lose this. I mean, that's 2 divisional games in a row that they would have lost to the Saints, and now Atlanta. You still got Carolina twice. They lose this, and then who do we say Carolina has this? Oh, they have the Saints this week. So it's going to be that division, man. The rest of the way here, it's going to be like every single game is critical. Every win's going to be important, and I don't think the Bucks can afford to drop a game against Atlanta, a team that they're really, better than. When you look at the roster and stuff. So they can't mess around and lose this week.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. NFC South Saturday. People are gonna be out. Well, actually, in playoff
in January, sometime, I think. Yeah.
Maybe they'll be Saturday. Ron, what do you have to say to Steelers that are still clinging on to hope that they win that division, got that home playoff?
If that's what you want, I mean, it's out there. It's in their court. It can happen. I think it probably will happen, especially if they win this week. I think their probability right now is like 66 or 67%. If they win this week, it goes up to like 70-something%. So they got a favorable schedule, a schedule that they can win 2 games. Even if it comes down to that last week with the Ravens, they've already proved that they can beat him. I highly doubt Lamar will all of a sudden be healthy that week. So, but I think in Steeler fashion, it will probably end up coming down to that last week because that's how they do things. I'm still of that mindset that I don't want to just back into the playoffs at 9-8, 10-7, and then have a first round exit. I don't care if it's a home game. So I would rather see a total collapse and root for change than to see this team struggle like the way they've been struggling the last few weeks and back their way into the playoffs. But, I'll be rooting for them on Sunday. I'll be there cheering. But yeah, this past week, if I'm being honest with you, I was just looking at the game. I kind of wasn't my normal self because part of me was like, man, I really hope they don't win this game. If I'm being honest with you. But they end up doing a lot of things that I've been calling for the past 7-8 weeks. They finally decided to do it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of disrespect this Buffalo game. I don't know if Las Vegas did this on purpose. They wanted to hype up the game, but just look at the writing on the wall. Buffalo is painted, damaged look. New England, it's working on all cylinders. Yes, they got their little kinks there, but this is. I'm surprised, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Why is Buffalo favored when New England? I'm not upset about it because it is Josh Allen, but Keon Coleman. I mean, none of these receivers scare me.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Let's the 1 o'clock game. I thought they would flex. Instead, they flexed.
They did. Yeah.
Why? This is the game that they should have. Get Cowboys and Vikings out of this. Should have been. This should be the Sunday night. But other than that, next week we'll have Week 6, episode 142. Till then, I say peace.
Peace. All right, that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Thanks so much for all your support and listening today. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email us at simsportsmedia@gmail.com. That's SYMSPORTSMEDIA@gmail.com. Peace.